there. So I made this castle over here, and I was wondering if you wanted to check it out with me. Wait, hey, come back! Was there something on my face? Oh, hey, maybe you won't run away. Wait, hold on. Trust me, this castle's really cool. Just take a quick fly around. See, pretty cool. But first, let me tell you how I got here. But before I do, you should like this video. I make cool builds like this every month, so if that interests you, subscribe to this channel. I also stream here on YouTube once a week and every other day on my Twitch, so you should check that out also. Also, if you stick around to the end of the video, I have a neat surprise waiting.
Oh, holy crap, bro. It's like identical.
Hey. That's an insane replication. What?
So Fortnite dropped a new season a few months ago, a superhero-based season, and it was cool and all, but you're here to see a build, so let me get to that. So I really liked one of the new POIs they added. The first thing I thought to myself when I saw it was, I bet I could build that. And so I did, but the first thing I needed was a map to build the castle on. There are 3 major things around Castle Doom. The first one being this giant snow mountain with a black tower on it. The second is the smaller mountain to the north of the castle. And lastly, but the most important, is the river that flows around it. I need to get these 3 things into my Minecraft map at least somewhat accurately. So thanks to World Painter, I was able to do so. And this is how the map looks before I start building. Now it was time to start laying out the build, but in order to accurately recreate Castle Doom in Minecraft, I needed to take a lot of pictures. And when I mean a lot, I mean a lot! I took over 100 screenshots of Castle Doom in order to build this as accurately as I could. Now it was time to actually start placing blocks for the castle. So the first thing I started was with the main gate. This would be the primary thing to set the proportions of everything else in the build. The next thing would be to lay out the main bridge of the castle. While doing this, I realized something. Something was off. Look at these 2 photos. Notice something? Yeah, the river is way too thin here. I'll have to fix that later, but I'll work on the rest of the build first. I started to work a bit on the right side, but I really wanted to stick on the left side. In retrospect, I should have just continued to work on this side for reasons you'll see later. But back to what really happened. As I worked on the left side, I needed to make several terrain adjustments. Like every time I thought I finished laying out a section, I had to make a terrain adjustment. This is honestly why I found this phase the most frustrating phase out of all of them. I started some work on the back, but after a while, I thought I needed to work my way from the right side towards the back. So I did. Though I quickly realized I needed to make yet another terrain adjustment. But I didn't realize how big of a change I needed to make. As I laid out the last bit of exterior walls, slowly set in how much terrain work I would have to end up doing. Combined with all the other sections I had to fix, I basically had to redo the terrain around the castle. With all the terrain work I needed to complete, I very nearly quit this project. I knew it would be a lot of tedious work despite all the building tools I had at my disposal. This frustrated me because I naively thought I could get this build done in a few weeks. But all this extra terrain work would significantly slow my progress. But despite all of that, I pushed on. I started by expanding the river by the front entrance. This allowed me to build a bridge that was much closer in scale to the actual main bridge. I then moved down the river along the right side of the castle. This was the longest terrain reconstruction because I was basically redoing this entire area from scratch. I had to redirect this part of the river and change the mountain terrain slightly to better follow the river. Once I was able to fill in the mountain and complete a more accurate version of the terrain around the castle, I moved towards the back of the castle. I redid this section to be closer to the Fortnite version of Castle Doom. And now the last section of terrain that needed to be fixed was the left side part. I put a band-aid fix on this earlier, but I can't have the final terrain looking like this. So I got to work fixing it up to be more accurate to the original Castle Doom. And once I was able to get that done, the terrain looked a lot better overall. Now I could focus on completing the actual build. With the exterior walls laid out, it was time to build the internals of the castle. This is where the castle really started to come together. So once I had everything filled in, I started to add the roofs. Tower roofs were pretty easy for me since I've done hundreds of them at this point. Though when I got to building the roofs, I really had to sit and think how I wanted to approach them. In Fortnite, these roofs go up at the same angle. However, in Minecraft, the 2 closest ways I could move the roofs up at a similar rate to the Fortnite version was either to go up by 1 or 2 blocks. and in my opinion, neither of these options looked that appealing to me. So I decided to combine the two and instead go up by one at the start and then steepen the roof as it got closer to the peak. This put the peaks of the roofs at the correct height, and it looked more dynamic despite sacrificing a little bit of accuracy in the process. Once I had my process for the roofs done, I finished the roofs for the rest of the castle and added the last two bridges in the back. Now the layout of the castle is done, or so I thought. See, there was a small issue I noticed. The castle looked kinda short. I bet you're looking at your screen a little confused at what I mean. This castle is already 100 blocks tall. What do you mean this castle is short? Well, when you compare it to other builds, yeah, this castle is pretty tall. However, when compared to the Castle Doom in Fortnite, it seems a little bit shorter than it should. In particular, look at the courtyard. Notice how short these platforms are. Now compare them to how they should look in Fortnite. Notice the difference? So I went to work adjusting the height of the castle. This took a little longer than expected, but the result was worth it. It fixed a major issue I had with the castle, and this change would be very important to how I did the detailing later. After a slight adjustment in wool color to make coloring easier, it was time to move on to the detailing. The first thing I needed to do was color the castle. Castle Doom is primarily made of stone, so I made a stone gradient and colored the castle with it. Now, for the reason why I added the light blue wool. Most of the exterior floors of Castle Doom are made with this dark stone. It's also very convenient that deep slate tiles look very similar to this, so that's what I changed the floor to. Now it's time to figure out the roofs. Castle Doom has dark green roofs, which fits the Dr. Doom theme. However, there isn't a green block in Minecraft that has the same texture as the roofs in Fortnite. Wish dark prismarine works, but I had to think of something else. So I came up with a green gradient. Green terracotta, green concrete, lime terracotta, and melons. Yeah, so there wasn't a green color that I really liked after lime terracotta, so I went a bit unconventional and went with a melon block. And it turned out surprisingly well. So I applied this gradient to the other roofs, and once I had the bridges colored, it was actually time to detail the build. So the first part I'm going to detail is the main bridge. It's surprisingly intricate, so I had to spend a lot of time on it. After getting that bridge done, I needed to add some sculptures at the end of the bridge. This is a problem, since I am terrible at making sculptures. And well, the wolf statues didn't turn out that great. I mean, I guess you could tell what they are, but they really aren't all that good. Granted, it is hard to create something detailed at this scale without mods, but I feel like someone more skilled than I could do a better job. But this is what I got, so I have to work with it. A small detail Fortnite added to the left wolf is that it has a tennis ball in its mouth. Now I couldn't fit a block in the mouth since it was only a slab of space, so I placed a green head at the base of the wolf. After that, I added some stuff to the bridge and started working on the wall. Then moved over to the two towers. These were generally pretty simple designs, but as it became a theme, it ended up taking a lot longer than expected. But still, I pushed on. I worked section by section until I finally got my first building done. And once this building was finished, I was honestly thrilled with how it turned out. Getting this first building done really gave me the motivation to finish this project. I then moved on to the next building and got that done. Then it was to the main palace. It had a lot of details, so it took a while to finish. One major problem I had was fitting this wolf statue. I had already realized I slightly messed up the proportions of the castle, but this was the first major issue I ran into. But I'm already so far into the build that I didn't really want to make a major change like this, so I just left it as is. I then moved over to the stained glass windows on the left side of the castle. It proved to be a challenge, but I'd say it turned out pretty solidly. I continued to progress through every section relatively smoothly until there was one tower left, and I realized something. It was laid out incorrectly. Well, that was an easy enough fix. I could just build up some walls and I'm done, right? Wrong! The top of the tower actually comes out a bit, so I had to completely redo the top of the main tower. This was a bit embarrassing for me since I had done so much to maintain the accuracy of this build as best as I could, and I missed a major detail like this. Well, I got it fixed up as best as I could and wrapped up the buildings of the castle as best as I could. And despite the troubles this tower caused me, it ended up turning out pretty nicely. Now all that was left for the castle was the courtyard. For the most part, the courtyard was pretty easy. Just adding some trims and planting some trees. But there is a major feature in the courtyard that I dreaded. The Dr. Doom statue. Again comes the issue of me being bad at sculpting. And now I have to create another statue. well, I won't get better without practice, so here goes nothing. So I try to create the statue as best as I can, and the statue did not turn out that great. You can't really tell these are supposed to be the same thing, but I'm not really sure how to make it much better. So I moved on with the last bits of detailing. And that wraps up the main castle of Castle Doom. I didn't end up doing the interior because by the time I finished the castle, it was October. I started this project back in August. And if I was going to make an interior, it was probably going to take another 1 to 2 months. And by that time, the next season of Fortnite would be out, if not the next chapter. So I decided to move on to other things I needed to finish. So I placed down some trees and rocks around the castle close to where they are in Fortnite. And then I worked on some smaller builds that are around the POI. I made an attempt at a nearby reboot van, but as you can tell by now, sculpting statues and vehicles are not my strong suit. But I still need to finish one more thing. This Black Tower Forge. Fortunately, it's a pretty simple design that I could get done pretty fast. And so I did. Just had to take care of a few details like this path, some holes, and mediocre pipes. Now to the last step of this entire project, the smoke coming from the tower. While making the smoke, I encountered a major issue. The height limit completely threw off what I wanted to do, so I improvised as best as I could. And in the end, the smoke turned out okay. I could probably make it better if I spent a little more time on it, but at this point, I just wanted to finish the project. I had time constraints, so I had to wrap it up whether I wanted to or not. However, in the end, this build ended up turning out very nicely, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. It is downloadable for free on our website, so go ahead and get it for yourself. But before you go, do you want to see how other content creators reacted to this build? This is the build.
Damn. 2 entire months, right?
Yep.
One of the most important questions, of course. Does it have a bag?
It does.
Did you
have a
build the bag? You built the bag?
Yep. I built
Ruined
both
all that.
sides.
That's crazy. I like the terrain a lot, actually. Like, the castle is cool and all that. Those are some good mountains.
Whoa, okay. That looks a lot like the picture then.
Yeah.
You did a good job of staying faithful to that. Were you, like, using any mods or anything, or was this all by hand?
I'd die if this was all by hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Same. I like those details on the roof, the copper details, like the little spikes and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what honestly really makes these roofs.
I'm curious little door. Oh my god. I mean, the build is amazing.
You're not gonna be able to tell what this is supposed to be.
What the? What the? No. You can tell. It's like a human with a cape. Damn, let him cook, bro.
Oh, I see it. Nice. That looks pretty close. You know, I mean, I can't even build vehicles, so I applaud you on your attempt. I think it looks very nice, and looking at the 2 screenshots that you sent me, that's pretty damn close. I don't think you could get closer.
Now, I didn't only have Minecraft YouTubers react to this build. I even had some Fortnite pros react to this build.
Oh shoot, Doom's Castle.
Yep.
Wait, okay, so did you made this?
Yep, I did.
Holy crap, bro. It's like identical. Wow, dude, this is actually like top tier.
How did you do that? Wait, nah. Why so talented? How did you? I know the build looks really good, but like, how did you make the smoke look so good? How did you do all of that?
Oh, dang. That is pretty sick. Wow. The Doom Tower, too. Mount Doom. It almost looks nicer than the real game. Look at all those trees. I love that POI. I actually hate that POI, and I love the look of it, though. It's like, I want to go to that POI, but every time I do, I have a miserable time.
It is a frustrating
looks so fun,
POI
though.
to go through, but it is really pretty.
Yo,
Hey,
that's an insane replication. What?
it's
Wait,
like
how did
it's
you?
to scale actually.
Actually, I haven't seen it.
It is
this
to scale as
completely
well. Wow. How'd you like build it? How'd you build it?
So you see, what I
software or
did
something?
was I just grab a block and place, and did that millions of
Really?
times.
Damn, wait, you didn't use like
No.
what you
I
call
did.
it, software for it?
I did.
Like,
That's at least a
hand-
couple
like
thousand.
hand stress?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
I
want
mean,
me
that's
to
at least a
call-
couple 100,000 actually, if you count the terrain. Good
Like
lord.
Matsuka.
That's a lot of blocks.
Yeah, it's a lot of blocks.
Damn.